Spring is upon us, and while that's an exciting time for many gardeners, most people will look out into their gardens and landscapes and see something like this. Today I'm going to give you my 7 must-do spring landscape tips to ensure a thriving landscape that you can enjoy through the rest of the year, starting with clean up winter debris. Now, we're in a garden that is taken care of very well, so there's not a lot of winter debris here, but there's some early spring debris behind me, and so it gives you the idea that you would clean up everything that needs cleaning up. It could be weeds, it could be dead branches on trees, and it can be a buildup of leaves. And even though some people like to leave leaves, I like to clean up a lot of that debris. A lot of times those are burrowing spots for the beginnings of pests and disease. The early spring cleanup will vary depending on your location, but we go by the weather more than the date. That's the first step. Let's clean up winter mess and get things ready to grow, ready to sprout, ready to bloom. Once all that winter debris is gone, you will probably uncover a lawn that could use some love after a winter of neglect. And I have some tips for you that will help your lawn looking back to life, healthy and green. So one spring thing that you can do that really works great is if your lawn doesn't look good, you can overseed it. On this particular lawn, it's a fescue lawn, so you could overseed it with fescue. I prefer to do fescue if you have a fescue lawn. If you have some kind of mixed lawn with a bunch of weeds and stuff and maybe some warm season grass like Bermuda or something, you could overseed with perennial rye, which comes up real fast. Now, some people prefer to overseed in the fall, and that's a legitimate preference. You can overseed in the fall or you can overseed in the spring. If you overseed it in the fall, you probably don't need to overseed in the spring, and your lawn will probably look like this one. This one was overseeded in the fall with fescue. It's a question of doing an evaluation in the spring. Is my lawn look great like this one? If that's not the case, and it looks, it's got some bare spots and unevenness, and some areas look good, some areas don't, then spring, from a germination standpoint and a horticultural standpoint, is really an excellent time to plant lawn seed and get it to come up fast. And that's really the most important thing with planting lawn seed, is picking the right time of the year where you can get fast germination. Let's check out the next point. You can overseed until Santa comes knocking at your door, but if you have lousy soil, you'll find nothing really makes your landscape or your lawn look healthy and thriving. And the same goes for your plants. But luckily, there's some clever tips and products to ensure that this is not a problem you'll have this year. So we're in a landscape where they had all kinds of problems with fungus in the summer and pests and disease kind of all year round. They were using merit and subdue every year more and more. And what we did is we infused the soil with life with our John and Bob's products. And we got away from all the chemicals, and we made it a landscape with healthy soil. So the whole idea of these products is very similar to using compost, but this is concentrated compost. And by using concentrated compost, all of a sudden you have the formula for changing everything about your soil. We're attracting and feeding all kinds of beneficial microbes with the goal of creating complex life in the soil. Complex life in the soil is the key to successful gardening. It's the key to the best bloom, the best production, the greenest lawn without having to keep applying chemicals. Whoa! It's whale watching with koi. Were you startled? So if you want to give your landscape the best shot at looking healthy all year round and being productive all year round and not getting pest and disease all year round, check out our spring sale right here. Scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description. Let's go look at the next spot. Some of you are really interested in keeping unwanted visitors from popping up in our gardens and landscapes. And there's a pretty good product to help you do so as long as you use it strategically. There's a lot of interest in pre-emergent herbicides. We do use them now and then, although my overall goal is to not use them because they're not really good for soil. But sometimes the chronic nature of weed problems is such that it makes sense to try to use them on a 1 or 2 time basis and then encourage other types of gardening techniques to make it where you don't have to keep using them. I'm particularly opposed to what is done by many lawn care companies where pre-emergent herbicide is just a regular thing to occur. No matter if you have weeds or not, that pre-emergent goes down. That is a constant degrading of your soil. If you grow a really healthy lawn, you can grow a lawn that can outcompete weeds. We do use a pre-emergent now and then. I've been using a granular one called Dimension because it's easy to apply. And the key to all pre-emergents is the timing. It works to impact weed seeds just as they're starting to germinate, but you can't see them yet. And so the timing is really important. In many cases, because of longer winters, the pre-emergent time for lawns is more like into the spring. And you do the same thing in the shrub areas. Now, of course, no one wants to see weeds all over their garden. But what we have found, luckily, is many of you want to see more of our videos on their YouTube page. And if that's so, and we hope it is, make sure you subscribe down below. Even after implementing CHIP and my tips so far, there's still a danger looming. And it comes in all shapes and sizes. Pests are a big problem and disease, and the way that we combat that issue organically and in a healthy way so we don't have to be using chemicals all over the place is through the soil. Spring is when a lot of these pests start being a problem in the soil before you can see that they're a problem. This idea of building life in the soil is a really important way to combat pest and disease because that life in the soil can get to pests and eat pests before they become a problem. So we're focused on feeding our soil instead of waiting until they're a problem and then spraying them with chemicals. A little trick that I like to do, that I would encourage you to do if you have pest and disease problems, is to begin using beneficial nematodes, and early spring is a great time to make the first application. Beneficial nematodes are available from places like Arbicor Organics. They're pretty easy to apply. I like to apply them either very early in the morning or late in the evening. Many soils don't have beneficial nematodes because they're not developed. Come with Chip and I as we explore the next tip. Now that we have pests under control, and that's not always easy, it's time to talk about another important part of our landscape maintenance program. And that is pruning, early in spring pruning or late spring pruning. And the distinction is you would approach the timing differently depending on what your goal is. If we're trying to encourage growth or discourage growth. If we're trying to encourage growth, we do that during the dormant time or right at the end of the dormant time, right before spring. Then spring comes. The purpose of spring in the trees and the plants' eyes is I'm going to put on all this new growth, and this new growth through photosynthesis is going to help me grow even more. While the plant's thinking I'm doing this so that I can grow even more, your devious theme and technique is after it puts on all this new growth, then we're going to do our pruning. And so we're going to reduce the amount of fuel that it can use for increased photosynthesis. We do that in very late spring after it's done all its growth. So ideal pruning on most trees is you're doing thinning cuts, you're opening up the center a little so it has a nice exchange of air and light, and maybe doing a little bit of drop crotching here and there if you're trying to control height. You want to keep in mind while you're doing this corrective pruning, what's the natural shape of the tree and what's the natural beauty of the tree. And then you apply these proper pruning cuts to what it's supposed to look like. Chip, let's go see what our last point is. Lastly, we need to have a look at one of the most fundamental parts of your landscape, because this will really mess up your garden more than you'd like if there are problems with it. My own definition of a good irrigation system is one where you don't see it. And you can see by this landscape that not everyone agrees with me. We're in a landscape where the owner liked the idea of putting the valves above grade, even though these valves that you see are made to go underground in valve boxes. As you come into spring, what you have to be aware of is you're going to have to water pretty soon. One of the interesting things about irrigation systems during the winter is things tend to go wrong with them when they're not even doing anything, when they're not even on. And what we have found is that if you do turn off your systems during the fall or the late fall when you start to get rain, the diaphragms can crack, get more brittle, because of cold weather and just sitting there and not opening and closing. That's why some people in more moderate climates like to have their system still come on for a minute every week or something and keep the valves working. But whether you have to turn your system off or just use it on a limited basis, as soon as you get close to warm weather, then you need to check, make sure everything's working properly. We're going to make sure the valves are working right. We're going to make sure all the heads are working right. We're going to make sure our coverage is as good as it was in the fall, or even if it wasn't good in the fall, maybe we can do some improvements. And that's what we want to be aware of, that things can go wrong even when you're not using the system in the winter, and frequently do go wrong. It's a time of high problems with irrigation systems. Even if you do all these tips correctly, there are still a ton of things that you can do that will not only end up hurting your garden, but also costing you a lot of money. I'll tell you more about these things and how to fix them in the video on the screen. And don't forget to take advantage of our spring sale.